Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Within Warzone, obviously, we've already broken down a couple of main standout weapons, some weapons that you probably want to have on your usual meta loadouts. However, throughout the past few days of analyzing different data and, of course, going in and testing these guns in game, I have found not one, not two, but actually a handful of extremely broken weapons, broken in the way that these are ridiculously dominant. I would guarantee that almost all of these are going to be nerfed here in the upcoming meta updates and weapon balance updates for Warzone in the coming days and weeks. So use them while they're dominant if you're looking for some absolutely easy guns that are just going to fry everyone. Today, of course, we're breaking down the go-to setups you want to be using for these guns in specific. As we get into it, if you enjoy the video or if you find it helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. Let's try and aim for 2,000 likes on this one. And if you're new to the channel or if you're part of the near 50% of viewers watching who have not already subscribed, let's change that, because every single day this is your one-stop shop for news, updates, patch notes, meta breakdowns, really everything going on in COD is right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But we are starting first with a pretty unique, pretty fun weapon to use. This is the DM56 marksman rifle, and what's extra convenient about this is that it is a gun that fries kind of at all ranges, right? I had this sort of built out to be more mid-range based, close to mid-range based. You could use this over long distances though as well, and it's a semi-auto gun. It does take sniper ammo, so it's a little bit limited in the skill gap there, and the ammo supply could be a bit rough sometimes, but it melts. And it's actually crazy how dominant this is in like some mid-range fights or close range fights where it has no business being like this. It reminds me a ton of like the FAL being broken back in Warzone 1 when you could spam that as like an SMG style build. This is exactly that. So as far as the setup goes here, like I said, mainly based around mid-range, I want some good aggression, some snappiness here. So I'll go for the angled grip first and foremost. This is going to help out with idle sway, which is huge on semi-auto guns, alongside horizontal recoil, so there's not going to really be any bounce there. Helps out with general gun kick as well. Hurts your vertical a little bit, but that's not really a huge deal, especially with where we're trying to use this. I got the Olay laser on here for that snappier ADS, mainly is what I'm trying to get out of that. I got the 30 round mag. You could even jump up to 40 if you wanted to. Keep in mind though, if you're trying to play this a bit more aggressive in like building based engagements, 40 is going to be a little bit slower in terms of your ADS and movement obviously there though. So either or there would work though. I also got the reflector sight on here. This is all preference based. I love this ELO sight, especially for close to mid range, and you could use it at like 50, 60, 70 meters too, because it's nice and accurate. You could go for a 2.5 times a basic blue dot or red dot, any option that you're comfortable with, go for. And then just behind the face cam, I've got the cheek riser, which again helps out with sprint to fire and ADS, just making it more snappy and more aggressive. I'll go ahead and hide the face cam real quick if you're looking for that screenshot with all 5 attachments on there. But yeah, the skill gap here is definitely higher than I'd say with any other weapon on this list, but it's also just nuts for melting players in like 2 to 3 shots, it seems like sometimes. Now, another weapon that's actually crazy that we just talked about, not too long ago in the top 5 is the DG56 / the DG58. They keep changing the name of it in game, but this is another burst assault rifle, and it's pretty crazy in terms of its overall TTK output here. Whether you're fighting in the mid range, the long range, it is going to fry, and it's a super easy burst weapon to use, especially with the setup on here. It's going to be consistent. You can spam it, and it's going to melt through armor and base health alike. So here I go for the Eagle Eye 2.5 times on my mid to long range base guns. This is kind of my go-to optic for sure. It's just nice and clean, very similar to like the VOK from back in the day basically. We also got the 60 round drum on here, your basic extended mag, nothing too crazy there, pretty self-explanatory. The Ripper runner barrel helping out with idle sway yet again, so this is pretty clutch, obviously going to maintain that consistency and that recentering when you are spamming those bursts. I've got the LS18 barrel on here. This helps out with velocity, range, and control, so that nice little 3-in-1, making it even more lethal in the mid to long range. Then I go for the Spirit Fire Suppressor. This helps out with velocity, range, and control as well, so this makes it even better for long range. So this thing fries. It's super easy to use, even though it is a burst weapon. You will absolutely shred through multiple enemies back to back to back with this thing when you're landing your shots. And then another burst rifle that is ridiculous right now is the FR556. You might have caught the video the other day where I went in depth on a full gameplay with this thing, showing it just frying everyone. This in the DG Two burst rifles dominating was not on my bingo card for the launch of Warzone. In my opinion, the DG is maybe a tad bit easier to use because of its spammability, but the FR556 does have that better TTK when you land your shots over the mid to long range. But really, it's a pick your poison type scenario. Each of these are ridiculously good, and I am highly anticipating nerfs for each of these just because they're so simple, so easy as burst guns, and when you land your shots, it's like 2 to 3 bursts. You stand no chance. There's no time to react when you're getting shot by this. So very similar setup here, if I'm being honest. 2.5 times Eagle Eye yet again, the 60 round mag yet again as well, and Ripper 56 on here too. In this case, the long barrel is going to be the long bore. This helps out with range and velocity. No control benefits here, unfortunately. You don't really need them though, and of course these other barrels are going to hurt your range or something if you want control, but it's so easy to use and spam with the burst on here that that's not a deal breaker by any means, especially because the Spirit Fire Suppressor again does help out some with that recoil control as well on top of the range and velocity. So this thing feels good whether you're fighting at 20 meters, whether you're fighting at 40 or maybe even 100. You're going to be able to rip through again armor and health alike. It's crazy that burst weapons are this dominant so far. Hey everyone, it's holiday season, and if you're looking for the perfect stocking stuffer or gift this year, look no further than G Fuel. Whether you're trying to treat yourself this holiday season or pick up something for some friends or some family, G Fuel's got you covered with a little bit of something for everyone. Whether you're trying to restock on your favorite flavors, maybe try something new, they got the tubs, the starter kits, even just some straight up shaker cups if you're looking to grab a new one of those. If you want to pick up anything at all from the G Fuel sites, be sure to go ahead and throw in code IMMORTAL at checkout for that nice little discount. Link for that will be down in the description below if you're interested. Now this one kind of surprised me a bit, but the new Ram 7 with Season 1 is actually pretty broken if you're using this as like a mid-range based weapon exclusively. Long range, not as effective here, even though its TTK is actually phenomenal for the long range. By the way, I'll be putting up the TTK stats. It's pretty much going to be the same graph comparing all these guns, showing how they are the clear standouts and super competitive in this broken sort of meta that we've got going on, courtesy of True Game Data. Shout out Tony for putting in the work there. Link to his site will be down below, of course, but the Ram is, unlike the other options, exclusively close to mid-range, where its TTK is just crazy. Even this build here, which is largely control based because over range it's a lot more noticeable, you could be used as sniper support. It could be used more aggressively because the ADS penalty is not all that bad, and this thing melts if you're fighting within like the first 40 meters or so. So again, I got the 2.5 times, but if you're going more sniper support here, you absolutely could drop down to a slate reflector or, you know, a NIDAR or an ELO sight if you wanted to there. I'm still going for the 60 round drum. The fire rate's pretty fast here, so this does definitely help out with that added safety net of not having to reload in the middle of a fight. I go for the Bruin Heavy Support Underbarrel. Hurts your ADS speed a little bit, but you're getting a lot of control back out of this, especially horizontal, which there's a lot of on the Ram here. Helps make this pattern a lot more predictable. I've also got the Cormac Heavy Barrel on here, mainly because I'm looking for more control, more velocity, and more range, and for mid-range, this does help out a lot. Extends that lethal damage range a little bit there too. Although directly for sniper support, it is going to slow you down some, so this is something you might want to change out for a more aggressive stock or a laser or something like that. And then I go for a compensator here over a suppressor, again, just for control purposes. That side-to-side bounce could be pretty obnoxious in some fights, so the Sky Fury compensator here does really help limit that and decreases that bounce a lot with that horizontal and vertical control added on there. But this thing is definitely you know, versatile. It can be built in a lot of different ways, and it's going to be a very dominant gun, which in and of itself makes it kind of broken because of its versatility just straight up. And then, to no one's surprise, we've got the best gun in the game, the BAS-B. I saw a lot of you guys going, Zach, where's the BAS-B in our top 5 video the other day? This thing is so broken that it deserves this whole broken video, almost dedicated to it, if I'm being honest. There is nothing, if you are landing your shots at this thing, there is simply nothing that can compete. Now, the drawback here is the control and sometimes the velocity over range. There is more noticeable recoil on this than the other weapons on this list, the other weapons in the top 5 and whatnot. There is a slightly larger control skill gap with this gun. But there's also pretty low visual recoil in general in this game, so by comparison, it's not that difficult. It's just not the easiest like some other choices. And if you land your shots with this thing, it's GG. You could be fighting at 5 meters. If you got your sights up with this thing at 5 meters, it's gonna outgun SMGs. At 20 meters, it's gonna outgun SMGs and other rifles. At 100 meters, it's gonna outgun LMGs and rifles. This thing is utterly insane. So again, I got the Eagle Eye scope on there. I got the 45 round mag, which is the max in this case. And of course, that with this fire rate, that's not gonna be, you know, too troublesome whatsoever. Bruin Heavy Support on here as well. It does hurt that vertical control, but it says it's doing minus 0.2% 100%, even though it's a con there listed, so obviously not entirely accurate as always there. I got the Venom long barrel here, helps out with velocity, range, and control, that of course 3-in-1. And then I go for the GH50 compensator here. This helps out a ton with recoil gun kick, and then also horizontal and vertical. Now that said, there's a lot of good compensators you could switch this out for depending on how exactly you want the gun to feel. The TIE LR8, this does a lot more for horizontal, so if you want that more than vertical, you can change to that. If you want the lock shot, you can change to that. If the leveler, really good as well. Even the Cassis brake, solely focusing on horizontal and having a faster ADS, is a good option too. I've tried this build of suppressors and I just didn't like the feel of the control over range. Using a compensator while you are showing up on the map means you're gonna land more shots, and those players who are red dot chasing you are gonna meet their maker because this thing is going to fry them, right? So 100% a nerf is coming for the BAS-B. Use it while it's this broken. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot more balanced in the coming days and weeks, I would imagine, and certainly hope for, because this is going to be the cause of the vast majority of your deaths. That being said, those are the top 5 most broken guns in Warzone right now. They definitely stand out in terms of their TTK, their overall stats. They're all pretty nuts. If you guys enjoyed the video, or if you found it helpful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.